Hello everyone, my name is Elena Shvab and I'm a hat designer based in London. Welcome to my studio. Today I think is going to be a very important discussion about hat blocks that I'm using in my tutorials and using for making hats and the measurements. So many of you have been asking questions where I get my hat blocks and most importantly, what measurements are the hat blocks so that you can also order hat blocks of the same size. In my membership channel, I have a YouTube membership where I share a lot of courses and tutorials. Some of them are live, so you're always welcome to join. The link is in the description of this video. But in those videos on my membership channel, there are a lot of tutorials, and obviously I'm using a lot of hat blocks, and it might be obvious to me the measurements of the hat blocks, but for some of you, it might not be that clear because you can't really see the measurements on the video. And today I decided I'm going to show you some of my hat blocks that I'm using the most and what are the measurements of these particular hat blocks. So first of all, I just want to show the hat blocks that I have and example of some of the hats. So you can see not just the wooden hat piece, but also how it looks on the hat. So some of the hats I do have in my studio. So let me start with this one. This is a pillbox Fascinator hat block. It's one of the most popular shapes, I would say. I would even consider this shape classic. It works perfect for casual wear, for making barrettes, for bespoke hat pieces, for royal ascot and weddings. Very flattering shape. You don't need measurements of your hat size. You just put the hat on. It's very easy to wear and also quite fun working with it and making hats. So in my membership tutorial, membership channel, I have a tutorial about how to block cinema straw, and I'm using this particular hat block. So let me show you example of some hats that I've made using this pillbox. So first of all is this piece. This is bridal hat that I've made. It's decorated with crinoline and wire to keep the structure. And obviously the most important part in this hat is decoration, the crinoline piece that I twisted so it looks quite dynamic. But the base that holds everything is made of this pillbox hat block. And as you can see, let me put it on. It looks very beautiful on the hat. It fits all sizes, even this particular measurement, and it's very, very easy to wear, very light because it's made of cinema straw covered with fabric. The most important is effortless way of wearing this hat. So this is the hat block, and let me show you if I have another. There's another one. And this is another hat piece, exactly the same hat block. As you can see, same hat blocks, different hats, and the look obviously very, very different, but the basis of the hat block is quite the same. So you see what difference happens once you start decorating a different way, adding veil, if you put a bigger decoration or just a tiny little bit of flowers and twisted leaves. So let me put this one on. This is also from my bridal collection, and yes, also very easy to wear. It perfectly fits all hat sizes. So for beginners and those who don't want to invest in a lot of hat blocks, I would say this is perfect option as a first hat block to start with. So here you are, and let's measure this hat block. So if you want to write down, you're welcome. If not, you can always come back to this video. It will be available on my YouTube channel, so you can always come back and rewatch. And the measurements are, so I'm going to use my measuring tape. So from one side to another side, so measuring it like this, it's 19 centimeters. it's 19 centimeters, if you can see, or I would say 8 inches. The height of this hat block is, let me look at it more correctly, I would say 1.8 inches or 4 centimeters. Yes, 4 centimeters high. So from this point till this lowest point. Also, some hat blocks come with a different width of, well, I call it brim. So if you can see, it's quite narrow here. It's a bit wider here. It doesn't really affect on the design of the hat because the design comes on top. What happens inside is a different story because it's hidden underneath the hat. But it very much depends what design you are up to and what is easier for you to work with. So I would prefer to work with this particular width. It's easier to block and manipulate the straw. It's also easy to, after the hat is blocked and I take it off the hat block, it's easier to trim and insert crinoline so it holds the shape instead of stitching wire. But this is, of course, personal choice, and I'm already getting into more details. So let's take more to measurements of the hat block, and the width of the width of the brim is 15 centimeters or 1 inch. So this is, any questions about this hat block, please do ask. I'm happy to measure it again. So it's 19 centimeter from one side to another, 19, or it's about 7 inch in inches. And I would like to say hello to everyone who's joining right now. I hope this is useful tutorial, and hopefully it might inspire you on your new projects and give you useful and valuable insights. So any questions, please do ask, and do let me know if the sound is on and you can hear me properly, because last time I had a tutorial, one of the latest tutorials, 45 minutes, no sound, and no one could tell me that there's no sound. So please do let me know, thumbs up, or just say yes, or just any reaction will be great. But at least so I know that you can hear me properly. In the meantime, I'll continue with the next hat block. And well, let's talk maybe about this one. And it's a smaller version of this pillbox hat. So it's a smaller pillbox hat, and I'm using it for smaller fascinators, like teeny tiny fascinators, because some prefer smaller hats. I also use it as the top crown for wider brim hats. Like, for example, this is the hat, but for this particular design, I used more squarish geometrical shape rather than rounded. Nothing wrong with it. It just, that was my personal choice. I have some other hats that I've made, but I don't have them in stock, that I prefer to create a little crown with this particular shape to make it more rounded and to make it more soft and petite. So maybe then let's focus on this hat block. So this is also great for making smaller fascinators if you prefer to create pillboxes like this. It's very, you can wear it also at the back. Depends on how you secure the hat, or you can use it as a crown for bigger hats. So let me put this on to see how it looks. Like that. So this is my version of boat hat with wide brim and smaller crown. So again, for this hat, you don't need measurements of the hat size. So it fits all hat sizes. Basically, all the hat blocks that I have, all the Fascinator hat blocks, you don't need measurements. You can just make the hat and be sure that it will fit everybody. So again, starting with Fascinator hat blocks is the best way of making hats when you don't want to invest in the bigger hat blocks, or when you're not really sure what type of hats you would like to make. Purchasing Fascinator hat blocks, especially sometimes you can buy them secondhand on eBay or Etsy, and just start experimenting, learning how to block hats, how to trim them, play with the decorations until you figure out what is your particular style and what sizes of the hats you would love to start making. So let's talk about the measurements of this particular Fascinator hat. So the crown, the top is 14 centimeters from one side to another, and it's 5.5 inch, and the height is 3.5 centimeters, or let's put it in inches. I'm still figuring out inches. Well, I would say 1.5 inch tall. And the brim inside, it's quite narrow. So it's about 1 centimeters or 1/2 inch. So this is a smaller version of a bigger pillbox hats. And this one is, so from one side to another is, well, I would say, maybe this one is better. It's 13 centimeters or 5 inch. So basically it's up till here, 5 inch for this shape. And the height is 4.5 centimeters, which makes it 1.8 inches. So this is a smaller version for smaller hats or for crowns of the brim hats, like this one. And another one of my favorite hat blocks is this one. This is also quite a small Fascinator. When I was ordering it, I was confused. I think I was confused with the sizes. I wanted something bigger, but even that size, I quite like working with it. I wouldn't say it's my most favorite, but for some particular shapes and hats, it does work, especially if you're creating really big decoration. So for that, you don't really need a big, massive hat base. For example, this hat. This is also from my bridal collection. And you can see I created a really big bow using crinoline and veiling. So, and the decoration is obviously quite dominant, so you don't really even pay attention to the hat base, and it's quite comfortably sits on the hat. As you can see, a very lovely shape. It's a teardrop shape. It does look like a tear, or like that, anyway. And very comfortable. Again, it suits all hat sizes, absolutely all hat sizes. So making hats using this particular shape, you don't really need to worry whether it's going to fit your clients or not. So very, very convenient. And let's do the measurements of this hat block. So from one side to another, I think it's together with the height, it's 18 centimeters or 7 inch if you measure it like that from one side to another. And the length from one side to another is 23 or 9 inches. It's really hard to show. 9 inches, which is great. It doesn't really have a brim, whatever I call brim inside, but you just block towards the inside of the hat and then just simply trim and stitch the wire inside so it holds the shape. Very lovely, very beautiful, very flattering shape. It goes up on one side and goes down on the other side. And let's see what's the height here of the hat block. So it's about 6 centimeters. So it's 6 centimeter height from here up till here. 6 or about 2.5 inch. And this is one of my favorite shapes. Really, really, really love it. I have an example of this hat block. It's one of the oldest hats that I've made. Oh no, that's not the one. Actually, no, I don't really have example of this particular hat, but this is the hat block that I'm using during my tutorial, blocking felt fascinator hat using red, beautiful red felt. So it's on my YouTube membership channel. So if you would love to see that tutorial and learn the techniques of how I use this hat block and how I manipulate and block felt in order to create hat of this shape, please sign up to my membership channel. It also supports my work, and you can also learn a lot of useful techniques and tricks, and you will get a lot of information. So this hat block is made of styrofoam, polystyrene. Yes, this is one of my favorite materials for block making. So other hat blocks, as you can see, they are made of wood, and that's really, really great material when you know what you're ordering, what hat block you want. For this one particular, I didn't know what hat blocks to order, and I decided to create one of my own so I can play with the material and see how it turns out. And turned out that I really love the shape. So I curved it from styrofoam. It's really useful technique to learn if you would like to know how to create your own hat blocks. It's a little bit of work, very messy, but I would say that the results are really stunning. It's also not the best hat block in terms of it doesn't survive for too long. So wooden hat blocks are obviously much, much better. But this is great alternative, especially if you would like to create particular shape and you can't find it anywhere. So this is example of the hat that I made using this hat block. I mean, you can't really see, there's a lot of tulle. This was really fun way of making hat. It's 3 meters of tulle fabric all stitched together. It's very fluffy, very fun to wear. It's perfect for special occasions and royal ascot, weddings. So it looks like that. It's like a little cloud. And I'm obsessed with blue color this season. I don't know why, but I think it's just so beautiful. So if you can see, it still shows the shape of the hat block. So it goes from up down in a way, and it's narrower on this side and it's wider at the back, just like this hat block. So let's let's measure this hat block. So from one side to another is 22 centimeters and or 9 inches. From another side to the side is also 19. So this is 22. This is about 18 centimeters, and or 7¼ inches. And the height is, okay, let's see, is about 7 centimeter height or 2.8, I would say, inches. So yeah, and then I carved brim of the hat. That's what I call brim, which is about 2 centimeters or slightly less than an inch. So in the future, I would like to order this hat block in wood, because styrofoam is amazing material, very soft, very easy to block, but it does not survive for too long. So it might last for quite a few hat block, making a few hats. well, enough hats, but still would be nice to have it in wood, so it will be easier to work with it, because when material is too soft, so pins are moving inside the hat while you're blocking them and stretching the hat, so you have to repin and reblock. So that could be quite a pain during hat block process. But at the same time, when you make your own hat blocks and you have some idea of particular hat that you would like to create, learning the skills of using styrofoam or polystyrene or carton and paper or buckram, there are quite a few different techniques, is quite useful. And hello everyone who is joining. Hello, lovely to see you, and thank you for joining this tutorial. Hope it's helpful, informative, and interesting. And let me show you another hat block that I'm working on right now. It's this one. Yes, it's going to be a crown, and it's going to be a very, very tall crown. So it's going to look something like that on top, which is quite exciting. It's a lot of work. I mean, it's a very straightforward shape, very uncomplicated in a way, but it still takes a lot of time to carve and to, get perfect shape so it looks great from each side. And obviously the most important, the hardest part is to keep the measurement the way it was designed. So, okay, that's a little bit of distraction. And then the last hat block that I want to show you is this one. It's quite heavy, quite old, very hard to work with it because it's a very hard wood. I would not recommend, especially for beginners. It always goes for softer woods, type of woods, and best to invest a little bit more money, but to order from hat block makers who use softer wood, so it's easier to work with the hat block and use the pins. Because with this hat block, the harder the wood, the harder to use pins, and then you need a hammer for the pins, and obviously and your hands are in pain. But obviously the results are great with these hat blocks. The shape is very beautiful. It goes like that. So it's like a beret, Fascinator beret. So this is one of the examples that I've made when I was testing the hat block, trying to figure out what's the shape. And I think it looks really cute. It's already deformed shape. It's quite old, but I quite like it. So it's wide on one side, it's narrower on the other side. And I think it looks beautiful. And then you can just try and wear it different sides, different ways. Very much depends on design and idea you're going for. Lovely. So the measurements for this hat block is, so let me show you this way. So it's almost 8.5 inches. And it's slightly wider on the other side. It's 9 inches on this side and 8.8 on the other side. So the highest point would be, the height is 2 inches or 5 centimeters on one side, and the narrowest one is less than a centimeter, so it makes it 1.5, even less, inches. And then it goes wider towards the front or the back, depending how you look at it. It doesn't have this brim like on the other hat blocks, like here, because it makes it much easier to manipulate the straw, the felt, any material you're working with, and then trim the hat. So you would have to stretch the felt or straw inside, and then when you take off the hat block, you just have to fold it and put it slightly inside. which requires a little bit more manipulation. Everything is doable. It's just a little bit extra work. But the shape is so beautiful, and I bought it online, second hand, so it didn't really cost much. So once I found it, I thought, okay, whatever. Even though it's going to be hard working with it, I have to get this shape because it's absolutely beautiful. So I guess these are all the hat blocks I wanted to talk to you about. The most important ones, I wanted to tell you about these two, because this is the hat block I'm using on my membership channel, in tutorial about how to block cinnamon straw and how to block peanut pop straw as well. And this one is used in my also YouTube membership channel tutorial, how to block Fascinator, how to block felt berets. So this is the hat block. The rest, I'm just using them for my work, and they might show up in different tutorials from time to time. In my next tutorial, I would like to cover measurements for fedora hats. I think that's one of the most popular questions. And I'm going to talk about the crown and the brim that I personally have. The one that I ordered from Easy Hat Blocks, and absolutely love those hat blocks. They are in my all my tutorials where I make fedora hats, and all my students are using those hat blocks, and they're absolutely perfect. So these hat blocks and their measurements I will cover in the next video, so stay tuned. And in the meantime, if you have any questions, feel free to ask. Do sign up to my YouTube membership. The link is in the description of this video. There are a lot of useful tutorials, video courses, live member-only live sessions. Recordings are always there, so I don't remove them. So every live tutorial that I have for members of the channel, I do leave the tutorials there, so you can always come back to them and rewatch the workshops. And the next one, the next tutorial will be about veils on YouTube membership. So especially if you wanted to learn about veils, do sign up. It's going to be a live session, so you can ask questions. Join. There are two different options, member and member plus. So if you would like to see the tutorial, do join member plus, as it covers the live sessions that I publish on my membership channel. The veils are going to be of this style or this style, so I call them closed veils. You can't see the edge, open edge of the veil itself, and I think it looks very glamorous, beautiful, and it sort of like goes from one side to another in one movement. I will also show you how to steam veils, so they look very beautiful and have a very structured shape, and to avoid all these folds that naturally appear when you stitch the veil to the hat. So this is going to be next tutorial, and I will announce the date and the time on the on what it's called, where always put all the information. This is like a communication page on YouTube, so I'm gonna post it there, or follow my Instagram, where I always post all the information about next tutorials. So thank you so much. Thank you everyone who joined today. I hope it was useful, and I hope the sound is working well, not like the previous time. And thank you for everyone who commented and who said hi. It's so lovely to see you today. And I'll see you next time on this YouTube video channel, and wishing you all the best for now. Bye.